So friends, it was another bad day in court, and not just for Donald Trump, but for some Trump-adjacent clowns. Guys like Marco Rubio and a lawyer for the Proud Boys. 3 points of light incoming. Let's talk about that, because justice matters. Hey all, Glenn Kirshner here. So friends, I've got to admit, it's a challenge to keep up with all of the losing Trump's been doing in court. But today I picked 3 cases to cover. And let me start by giving a shout out to Politico reporter Kyle Cheney. Kyle is a great and very careful reporter, and I go to his timeline every day to see what the latest news is in Trump and Trump-related court cases. So today, let's start with a fun one. This from Kyle Cheney's timeline. Oops. Attorney for Proud Boys in their lawsuit against DOJ may not be allowed to practice law because of a prior felony conviction he appears not to have disclosed, according to the magistrate judge handling the case. And friends, here's just a little bit from the judge's order to show cause in that matter, directing the Proud Boys lawyer to show cause why he shouldn't be suspended from the practice of law in the Middle District of Florida, where this case was brought. In the case of Enrique Tarrio et al. And others, he is the former leader of the Proud Boys, plaintiffs versus United States of America, defendants, order to show cause. According to the court's records, the lawyer, Augustus Sol Invictus, is a member of the Middle District Bar and the Florida Bar. However, it appears from the publicly available records of the Virginia judiciary that Mr. Invictus was convicted of a felony on January 8, 2025. So far as the court can tell, Mr. Invictus has not reported a felony conviction pursuant to Local Rule 2.04b1, and it appears that Mr. Invictus may currently be suspended from the Middle District Bar based on that conviction. Accordingly, it is ordered that on or before June 26, 2025, the lawyer, Augustus Sol Invictus, must show cause in writing why he has not violated the local rule and why he is not currently suspended from the Middle District Bar by operation of that local rule. Don't you just hate when your lawyer turns out to be a convicted felon and he failed to disclose to the court that he was a convicted felon, as is required by the court's rules? I hate when that happens. Let's go to a second and more serious story. This one, again, from Kyle Cheney's timeline. Breaking, judge says Mahmoud Khalil cannot be detained or deported based on Marco Rubio's determination. And here's just a little bit of the judge's order in that case. Mahmoud Khalil, petitioner, versus Donald Trump et al., respondents. Federal officials detained a lawful permanent resident and seek to remove him from the United States for 2 reasons. One reason is that the Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, has determined that his, Mahmoud Khalil's, activities and presence in the United States compromise a compelling foreign policy interest. The lawful permanent resident filed a habeas corpus petition and has moved to preliminarily enjoin federal officials from removing him from the United States based on Secretary Rubio's determination. That motion is granted. There's a point of light, friends. It turns out that Marco Rubio can't just wave his little magic bullshit wand and order the detention and deportation of somebody who is here as a lawful permanent resident just because that person exercised his First Amendment free speech rights. One more point of light incoming. New overnight, Kilmar Abrego Garcia's attorneys ask Judge Sines for severe sanctions against the Trump administration for violating court orders, saying officials stonewalled them for months and outright lied. They want fines and an investigation. And friends, here is the opening salvo from that motion that was just filed by Abrego Garcia's lawyers. Introduction. For 9 weeks, the government, meaning Donald Trump's administration and the Department of Justice, the government defied this court's order, affirmed by a unanimous Supreme Court, to facilitate the return of Kilmar Abrego Garcia to the United States following his illegal removal to El Salvador. For nearly 8 of those weeks, the government likewise flouted this court's order to produce expedited discovery concerning what, if anything, it was doing to comply. This motion addresses the latter, seeking sanctions under Federal Rule of Civil Procedure 37 for the government's repeated violations of its discovery obligations. The government's defiance has not been subtle. It has been vocal and sustained and flagrant. The defendant's defiance of judicial orders has been accompanied by misrepresentations, stonewalling, and even questioning this court's authority. The defendant's defiance of this court's discovery orders in particular has been egregious, defined by open refusal to produce any evidence of its professed compliance and the meritless assertions of an array of purported privileges to shield its actions from scrutiny. The relevance of the information sought is beyond question, responsive at its core to basic questions posed by the court at the outset regarding Abrego Garcia's custodial status and what efforts the government had taken or would take to facilitate his return to the United States. The lengths the government has gone to resist discovery relating to these core questions raises a strong inference that the government is trying to hide its conduct from the scrutiny of the court, the plaintiffs, and the public. What the government improperly seeks to hide must be exposed for all to see. Accordingly, pursuant to Federal Rule of Civil Procedure 37 and Local Rule 105.8, plaintiffs respectfully request that the court impose the following sanctions. 1. Find established, for purposes of this action, certain facts set forth below. 2. Compel the production of information and documents the government has improperly withheld, or, in the alternative, appoint a special master to investigate the extent of the government's willful noncompliance with the orders of this court. And 3. Impose fines based on a finding of civil contempt. Now, friends, you may have heard me say before that I am not a betting man. I'm not a gambling man. I'm not a high roller. $1 is my betting limit. Well, I will wager the full buck on Judge Sines granting Abrego Garcia's motion for sanctions. So much losing by Trump and Trump-adjacent wrongdoers. Conversely, so many points of light shining out of our federal courts. So let's keep feeding, keep supporting, keep propping up those points of light wherever we find them. Because justice matters. Friends, as always, please stay safe. Please stay tuned. And I look forward to talking with you all again tomorrow.